Hi everybody and welcome to this video on arithmetic series. In this video we will have a look at the formula and how to get the formula for an arithmetic series. So a series Sn is the sum of the first n arithmetic terms. So we're going to get the formula, this formula that we get over here, we're going to derive it ourselves. Okay, so let us start. The first step is to start with the definition of a series. So Sn, okay, if we had to write that out, it's equal to T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus, and then we have Tn minus 1 and finally Tn. So Sn is the sum of the first n terms. Okay, so we start with the definition of the sum, which is the sum of the first n terms. What we're dealing with in this particular case is an arithmetic series. So that means each of the terms follow the general formula a plus n minus 1 times d. So what we're going to do is in the place of n, we're going to substitute each thing. So let's just do the calculation over here. So T1 is a plus 1 minus 1 times d. So we just get that T1 is a. So Sn. So T1 is a plus, let's put in what's T2. So again, we're going to get T2 by substituting 2 in the general formula. So here we get a plus d. Let us get T3. So T3, again, we substitute 3 into our general formula. And we get a plus 2d. Okay, for the nth term, n minus 1, we're going to substitute n minus 1. So Tn minus 1 is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. So it's a plus n minus 2 times d. And finally, Tn has to follow the general formula. So it's n minus 1 times d. Okay, so the first step that we have done is we have just used the general formula of an arithmetic sequence to then fill in what's T1 to Tn in terms of a and d. Now this should make a lot of sense to us. The first term of arithmetic series is a, so that's what we have. And then each one increases by d. So the next one's a plus d, and then a plus 2d, and then a plus 3d, on and on and on, until a plus n minus 2d plus a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, then our next step is to write this exact same pattern backwards. Okay, so we're going to write this backwards. So we have Fn is equal to, so we'll write the last term first. So a plus n minus 1 times d, plus then we'll write the next Tn minus 1, a plus n minus 2 times d, plus so on until we have a plus d plus a. So we're writing the whole thing backwards. And it's just me right here what we're doing. And that's really the trick. Okay, so once after we're done writing it backwards, what we're going to do is we're going to add. So I'm going to put a little line. So if we have Sn plus Sn, what would that give us? It would give us 2Sn. And now we're adding a plus n minus 1 plus d. So a plus n minus 1 times d. So this here you can see adds up to 2a plus n minus 1 times d. So this first, if you add a plus that, you're going to get 2a plus n minus 1 times d plus, and then a plus d plus a plus n minus 2 times d. So we have again 2a, and then the d plus n minus 2d's is n minus 1d. So again, we get 2a plus n minus 1 times d. And then we do that all across, and we'll see that all of them, when we add the term that corresponds with one above, we're always going to get the same number, which is 2a plus n minus 1 times d. So again, a plus d over here is 2a plus n minus 1 times d, plus finally 2a plus n minus 1 times d. If this is a bit confusing, just think of a normal arithmetic series like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 until plus 9 plus 10. If we had to write this backwards, so start at 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 2 plus 1, and if we had to add it, we get 11. 1 plus 10 is 11, 2 plus 9 is 11, 3 plus 8 is 11, 4 plus 7 is 11. So it's this property that, you know, is unique to arithmetic series and sequences that we are using. So the trick is to write it backwards and then add the terms, and what you'll get is always the same number. Okay, and then so we've got a whole lot of these 2a plus n minus 1 times d terms. How many of these terms do we have? Well, we started out by summing n terms, so we have n of those terms. So how else can we write it? We can write it as 2Sn is equal to, since we have n of them and it's n of the same things, it's n times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. And then finally, to get Sn the subject, we're going to divide both sides by 2. So we get n over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, so that is how we get the formula, and that is the formula. So you just need to remember the steps and the process and the logic behind it. So let's just go through it. First, we define Sn, which is the sum of the first Tn terms. Each of those Tn terms are arithmetic terms, so they follow the formula Tn is equal to n plus 1 plus b. So then we substitute 1, 2, 3 until n to get those terms. The trick for this is to write it backwards. So we write the same term, the same Sn, but backwards. And then when we add the terms with each other, then we get the same term each time. And we have n of those. So 2Sn is equal to n times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. And then finally, we solve for Sn. And that is how we get the formula. Please watch our other videos on more information on how to use the formula. Thank you for watching. Bye.